Hey guys, Igor here, and in today's video we are going to start with modeling this nice cabinet. Now I don't see the front face, so I'll just use my imagination and try to make something decent or logical for this type of tutorial. So I'll try to make something that will show you a few tricks along the way. So let's put this reference on side and let's dive in. And let's start by removing the front face. How I know it's a front face? Well, I'm looking at this gizmo axis. And here I can also see by these numbers, this is a positive, this is negative. So I know that this is Z positive and this is Z negative. And then this one is X positive and then X negative. So now in the edge mode, let's select everything and let's grasp all these selected edges. What happened now is if I go into polygon mode, select everything and execute my explode view node, we can see that all my primitives or polygons are now disconnected and I'm able to get this with explode view node. I will demonstrate why is it useful. And what I actually did is if I go to radial menu under the modeling, because I'm using modeling radial menu from here. If I go inside, just go under the adjust and then change or replace this smooth node, which I'm not using at all. So put this explode view here or whenever you want, and then apply and accept, and that's it. So let's undo. And now I need an edge loop cut here. So let's try to do that. And now as you can see, I have a bit of trouble now. Hovering over this edge can display our edge loop to be cutted on the top and bottom, but can also sometimes be displayed as we need it. So like this. So I can make a cut, but let me use this extrude or explode view node. So let's select this polygon and let's execute explode. Right, now what I can do, I can go to my edge loop and I can invoke or create a cut here without no problem. So let's add 4 loops or 5 boards, and let's go back to my explode view node and just set uniform scale to 0, or just delete this node. Now we can see here that we have edge selection set by edge loop automatically, which then we can just execute another cusp, but this time I need to use cut boundary point. And now if I go to selection mode and choose with F5 laser selection, make sure that we are in polygon mode, select everything. And now if I execute my exploded view, now we can see that these boards are now disconnected and I can start working on them. Sorry, not object mode, I need polygon mode. Let's reverse these and select again and then execute poly extrude. And let's close back side. Nice. So the next thing I want to do, I want to select this board and make the cross section one. So let's duplicate, let's bring this outside. Let's scale this up a little bit. And with shift, we can make smaller or smoother increment rotations by 0.1. With control, we are making the bigger, in this case, 45. But we need this smaller, so we can position it right here where we need it. And now let's use clip, the shelf. And with snapping, let's just bring this clip and align it to this outside point. press Q to repeat the clip, and let's now clip this side. And now, because we have already a selection, we can execute polyfill. And now we have this board on the back of our model. Nice. So let's continue by selecting these polygons and of course duplicate. And now with orient picking, we can position this. Change the source, but obviously not good. So let's repeat. Orient pick, put it here, and let's just position this manually. Make this smaller. And let's bring it here. And let's make another duplicate. But this time let's add another instance. And we can go back to the first duplicate and just move it either front or back. And this bottom copy will, or duplicate, will follow, which is nice. Now let's go back to my last node and select everything here and do another duplicate. And this time with orient picking, let's put this here, rotate, let's bring this out a bit, make sure that we are not intersecting geometries, and let's scale this, something like this. If you want to be more precise, what you can do is go to point, you're already there, F2, select just this, and let's make sure our construction plane is at the correct place, which means on the regular grid. And now with the translate, right click on the axis and then move handle to pivot onto C plane. So let's project this selection onto C plane like that. Now we are perfectly aligned with the construction plane. And we can now select these, and with snapping, just snap. Nice, wunderbar. So let's go into polygon mode and let's just mirror this the other side, and that would be it for this part. Now I have polygons here and polygon here, and I will delete those because I don't need them. Let's see, let's make sure I deleted the correct ones. Selection mode, delete, delete. Okay, nice. I also have one here. I can select it. No, this one will be a bit tougher to select. So I will select these primitives, and with transform, I will move it up. Select this thing, delete. The blast mode will be created, but if I go up, I can reset translate and bring back this board perfectly where it was before. Nice, very convenient actually, very, very convenient. Now let's make this bottom part, just extrude, output back. Let's make sure that normal direction is set in the right direction. Now here we have obviously overlapping, which we can see if we hover over the primitive, we will get this highlighted primitive, and then we can see that there is some kind of overlapping. So we can just move it front and select this one and move it a bit. And yeah, nice start. But I think for these, if I look at my concept, let's change our axis orientation, something, I selected something. that I don't need. So let's make this a bit bigger, just to match our reference image. Come on. Bit more. Yeah, this looks fine. Now let's create this top part. And I will of course duplicate. Bring this up. If I want to be precise, I can use attachment, attach it here, then bring it here. And now what I will do, I will use edge loop, add one loop to make sure that this loop is right in the middle, and then bevel to something like this. I think fine. And then I can make sure that there is nothing in the middle, and select one edge here, one edge here, and then fill it up. Select these and tap here, like the top primitives, bring them up a little. And now I can duplicate this one and again use my detachment and here, and then just rotate and use scale, or select this primitive, use tapping for precision. And now we have this top part sitting nicely. Okay, let's add this. Actually, before I add anything else, I'll save. Okay, and now I will create, because I want to put shelves here, I need to create something that will hold these shelves in place, right? So for the sake of this tutorial, I will try to model something more detailed, even though we probably don't need it, but I think it will be more effective and good for the tutorial, even though if we make a tutorial a bit longer. Guys, if you want to learn something, then you need to put time into it, so I'm just trying to make this as informative as possible. So yeah, well, let's see what happened now. I don't know what I copied and why is copy executed there, but I want this piece to be duplicated, and for some reason why is this axis there? I have no idea. So let me try duplicate from here, and now it works. Okay, Houdini can be sometimes well, I guess buggy, which is fine. I don't mind. I understand the complexity of this software, so yeah. Anyway, let's detach it here and bring it up. And now I want to make sure that only this polygon is visible. So I will go show only selected primitive, and I will start working on this part. Let's save. And now first thing I will do, I will just bevel these. It's just to make a more interesting shape, I guess. And now with edge loop, actually first I need to make sure that we don't have n-gons. Shift right mouse button to finish the action, and now I can use my edge loop, set number of loops to 1 for perfect middle position. And let's bring another edge loop somewhere here, and then in point mode select this middle point and execute bevel, and let's set it to be to always, and then add few divisions, polygon mode selection, Shift G to grow selection, and then press T to invoke edit node, and then within edit node, Shift C to make perfect circle, and let's delete this. Now I want to make sure that this is all quads. So let's see. Shift F. Oops, not that. But let's select everything and then Shift F. 2 frames selected, and now from here I can invoke knife. Make sure that everything is selected. Invoke knife. Make sure that point snapping is on. And now I can quickly add cuts. After the cut is done, just press Q. That would be it. Now we have everything in quads. Just to be sure, let's convert this polygon selection and just fuse everything. And if you get something like this, that means that your snapping distance is too big. So just add one null. And now all overlapping points will be fused. Great. Now let's see. Let's go back to my bevel first. I think if I make this bigger, okay, I go to edit and then Shift C again, and we are again. I just wanted to make this bigger, so let me just repeat the knife. Let's quickly. Okay, sorry about that. So now we are happy with the size, and now we can close this hole and make sure that we are using triangulated fan. Disable the form patch, and now we have this thing, but unfortunately this is not disconnected. So what we need to do is in edge mode, let's enable the laser selection and just deselect these middle edges and invoke edge cusp. And now if we double click, okay, to see this, because everything was cusped. Now, okay, now this is good. And let's duplicate this piece. Let's detach the axis and let's move for 90 degrees and make sure that we change the normal direction because I want to make a thickness. And also because if I double click on these polygons, we can see that this is not connected. Because with double click, you are selecting connected geometry. In this case, I need to go into point mode and just make sure I fuse these. And if I double click now on these polygons, we can see that this part is perfectly connected. Nice. Now let's select everything here with N. And let's poly extrude. And let's extrude back. And this part here I will just delete. I don't need this. And okay, nice. Let me do beveling immediately, but I'll do some more extrusion here to be a bit thicker. Go back and let's select these here. So let's see, actually what I will do before this, we'll select everything and then explode. Just so that I can make selection a bit more easier on myself. Now I cannot use group node here because it will try to select everything, even the hidden edges, so I need to do this manually. So I wish that group node can work on, well, isolated selection, but unfortunately it cannot. Hopefully in the future. Okay, nice. So now let's bevel this. We can add shift bevel to these. And I think that will be fine. And let's bevel this, but for a little less. And let's not use page up because Houdini might crash. Let's bring this back. And I think we are okay with this piece. Of course, there is a flaw in this design because nothing will actually hold this. So I can, what I can actually do here to just make some justice is let's grow selection and then let's try to use peak and bring this outside a bit. Or see, maybe edit local frame by geometry. In this, yeah, this will work. So let's delete peak and work on this edit. And really, let's bring this here. And now let's extrude. Okay. Something like this. And I guess this might have a bit more logic to it now. Yeah. I'm just fixing these to look a bit, just to look a bit better, that's all. Okay, I'm done with this piece, so we can use the extrude here, or let's say later use. So we can use it for thickness. Maybe if you want to make a control from it, and it will stay procedural too, which can be convenient. Okay, nice. Obviously shading is not that good, but we will fix this later. So let's show all primitives, and let's also bevel these right now to make sure that everything is selected. Just Shift G and let's poly bevel this selection. Okay. Now select everything and let's use normal, set face area, bring this bit down around 39. And now everything looks nice. Great. So here, let's continue with this. And let's duplicate to make a few more of these. Add another one. So you can play with this as much as you like. You want to position this perfectly. So let's select these. Let's mirror. And now it would be so nice to have ability to mirror selection. So I would just execute something and I would see selection on the other side, but unfortunately we need to select this manually. And now I can press Q to mirror selection again, but this time on the bottom. And I'll have to eyeball it, but now I'm losing my gizmo. But luckily I can go to my parameter editor and just eyeball it from there. So now this looks okay. And once more, now I can either duplicate this or mirror. So I'll just mirror, but this time like this. Bring it up and I don't know, position somewhere over here. Okay. And I can also duplicate this and bring it on top of these. If your middle mouse button doesn't work, you can always reach to your parameter editor. And nice, we have now this part. Now I can again reuse this by duplicating. And I can make doors here. Something like that. But what I will do, select this one, grow selection, and then bring this up to somewhere here. And now I want to create, let's see, let's add an edge loop here. And another one here. Now let's delete this part, but maybe I should just use my explode view while working on this, or hide everything. So let me just use explode just for the sake of the tutorial. And I'll hide the construction plane and work here. Select everything, delete, select one edge, and just polyfill. If this doesn't work, try single. Triangle seems to work best for now. Now what's cool here is if you have a menu like this, you can actually press left mouse button on the menu, and then with your scroll wheel go up and down without being forced to move your mouse, and you can go up and down to make a selection. Now why this is useful and what I'm doing here is I don't have to look here, so I can quickly click, change the setting, press middle mouse button to apply, and my eyes can be focused on here, not here, because I know that with my middle mouse button I'm changing these. So it's very fast to make a change, which is very convenient. So in this case, it seems that this works the best, so I will have to clean some of these. And let's see just will edge flip work here? Yeah, edge flip works here nicely. Of course, I need to fix the normals, so select everything, execute normals, and things should be fine. Okay, great. Now what I can do is I can just reuse one polygon here, bring it somewhere in the middle, and I'll do something you don't expect. I will actually execute here subdivide and make sure that point attribute is set to sharpen edges boundaries. And then you guessed it, with edit node I will press Shift C to make a perfect circle. And I can go up to my copy and just reset the position. And we can make this thing smaller or bigger, it doesn't matter. Up to you. Go down. And let's extrude. Here, and that's looking great. Let's add one division. Now here, what I will do next is I will grasp these edges to make this part separated, and I will just quickly, let's see, I'll just quickly select these. Okay, here I forgot to output back, so I will just make sure that this is grown only, and I'll select these and these and just bevel everything. And now I can remove this either manually like this with Control F mouse button, or exclude from parameter editor. And now I have this thing here. Now this may be a bit low poly, so what I can do, I'll just add edge loop. Actually, I don't have to add edge loop because I didn't do anything here. So I'll just subdivide this once. Great. I can delete these and even these. And then even this one. Add another one. Make sure to put this in the middle and then cusp. And now I have this nice mesh, which is also separated. So what I will do now, I will use another explode view. Let's see where this is gone. And I will continue working here. So let me select one edge here, one here, and let's close this. Let's put this as triangulated fan and deform patch disable. And now let's go to Polygon Mode, execute poly extrude. Let's make an inset. We need smaller inset, something like this. And let's extrude again. Now obviously this will not work because I want to make this thing to be able to rotate so that doors can open. So what I can go back to this previous extrude here and just display it with R from the network, and go into selection mode, and with laser selection select these polygons or these, and simply reverse your normals and go back to this extrude. And now what happened is, now this extrude is extruding in correct direction because we changed normals, and we know by now that extrude is actually extruding depending on your normal direction. So that's good to know. Now we can grow selection. Actually, I don't need this one, so let's make sure that these normals are correct. And this will not work, so I think I need another normal node. Yeah, now things will be fine. You can use the normal mode node as much as you can, as much as you need. This is really not a big deal. And now I can just make small bevels here because everything has small amount of bevel no matter what. Here we don't need it really. can stay like this. You can even delete to optimize, but yeah, let's just leave it where it is. Now with Shift T in our node network, let's call this list view with Shift T and say explode. And now we can select all of these and simply bypass. Let's see which one is for bypassing. I think these ones. And if I now show all, you can see that everything is on its place where it should be, which is very convenient. Okay, but obviously here I need to bring this a bit back. And let's see now, I'll again use show only visible. And this part will have to go inside of the doors. So this part, this top part will actually rotate. So let's poly extrude. Okay, this will not work. So I need to utilize F, toggle front transform on your keyboard, or right mouse button to open a menu. And let's bring this down. Now I'm still in my extrude node, and I can use, with this transform extrude front, I can use all my transform gizmos. So that's good to know. And I can extrude this front. So now this part, it should be extruded from here. So again, with F or right mouse button, toggle front transform, bring this here. In case local axis is not in the right place, you can use always transform space to set to global, and probably your axis will be positioned as you need it. And bring this front like that. Now from this polygon, I'll duplicate, I'll make it smaller, I'll use subdivide like this, select these, and with edit node make a perfect circle, just like make some kind of bolt. Just to demonstrate what's possible. You can always add more details, subdivide once again, something like this. Let's say that's good enough. Let's show everything, and then here let's just make inset. This is I don't believe that you would usually do this, but you know, why not? It's a tutorial, so hopefully you're learning from this. I just want to make a bevel here. So let's show everything again. Maybe we can bring this. So let's use explode for a moment. And with F2 box selection. Like let's go up. Let's bring this back. Let's go down. And now fortunately our gizmo doesn't follow, so we can do that, or just from here, do the same. And I think that looks fine. Okay. Nice. Next thing I need is a handle. So again, I can just duplicate one of these, make them smaller, bring them outside, subdivide, select T, Shift T to make perfect circle, go back to copy node, bring it back, oops, not scale, translate, come back to selection, position this somewhere, and let's make another selection to position the axis correctly. I can also use snapping, primitive snapping here, and position this. So if I'm, let's say if I'm outside like this, I can just grab it here and you can see that this is snapping perfectly. So let's make a handle quickly. As it's able. Let's extrude. It's more. Then selection. Extrude once more. And let's bevel these. And now I guess can. Not that. Subdivide. And we get something. Now I can go to Bevel and so that I'm ignoring some of the unwanted edges to get this more circle shape. I think that looks nice. I think I don't need this. So this subdivide does not work like you would see in C4D. It's not a modifier. It's always alive. You're just subdividing the mesh, so you don't have to convert anything. I don't know how would I explain, but after you use it for a while, I think it's gonna be clear. Okay, let me see if there is anything else. Yeah, before I finish, I'll just want to make here the transform so that we can rotate this. Great, and now in pivot mode, so this is what I actually was in the last video. I was confused. Not just in the last video, I was confused in general because I didn't actually realize that pivot mode and detachment node are different, and there is a big difference. So with duplicate node, in the previous video, what I was doing, I was trying to make these sticks inside the wheels, right? And I first used mirror because I said that duplicate cannot work. But what I was doing wrong is that I didn't use pivot mode. I was using detachment. So we can actually use duplicate node as, for example, array. I think it's called in C4D array generator, so that we can make a perfect circle from one object. So in this case, let's either use these shortcuts or just activate pivot mode. And now I can also activate my orient picking and bring this here and make sure that we go out. And now we can open this doors. And what's nice is that if like this transform, will remember that this pivot is here, so it will not reset. It will actually be here always, no matter what. So let's make this different color so that I know that there is some kind of control. Now, obviously, there is a small flaw in the design, but you can deal with this on your own. So, okay, maybe I can deal with this right now because there is a flaw in design here too. So let's see what we can do to fix this. I think I'll have to then change my or update my transform node too. But let's see. Maybe like this. And I'm not engineer, so guys, sorry. Let's see what happens. Okay, this seems to be working. And let's bring here, select these and these. See if there is anything else selected. Not, or yes, here, so deselect. And bring this down a bit. And maybe we can now bring this here. And this bottom part bring down. And hopefully this now can work a bit better. Let's see if our control still works as expected. So it does. That's great. So now we can reset this. Maybe let's bring this here. Now it doesn't work. Or it does. No, it doesn't, so I'll just make another control. It's easy enough, so let's do this again. Sorry about that, guys. Oops. I need to enable pivot mode, start orient picking. Bring it here in the middle. Disable pivot mode. And now we are where we need to be. But here, let's make this be here and then this to be here. Go down, reset, see again. Yeah, that's it. Nice. Let's rename. Let's color it just so that I know this is some kind of control. And that would be it for this part. What I can also do, let's see, just to show you, if I say control, I have here the thickness. So if I change the thickness of this part, you can see that this is updating all these. And you could put many controls as you wanted here to control maybe depth of the bolt or whatever, position of these holes. And you would be able to use it as a control even within the HDA. Now, I want to do something else before we end this. Let's just save. Let's see how this looks inside the lobes. Let's start Karma. Of course, why this is happening is because if we go back, we need to make sure that our rendering is also, because something triggers the render display mode, and because this is here, you can see if I display this, this is what Karma sees. So we need, that's why output node is very good. No matter what, if I now go back, even though my display and render tag are way up in the node stream, if I go into lobes, because I'm having output node, Houdini knows that it should always render the output node no matter what. So it's good to know. That's why I'm using output node always. But what I want to do before we end, let's just cut here with Y, and let's just bring render and display here. And now I want to make two nulls, because I want to take this and say, see, perfect, and me and names, and stylized. So I will also need switch node like this, and now this perfect node can go inside switch, and it will always output this model. But here, let's do something else with stylized. Let's say we want stylized look for this cabinet. What we can do is, let's make sure that our display is set here. We can select now some of these. Let's see. I'm not gonna do this for every single object, even though I'm tempted. I might speed up this. So let's say I want these geometries to be more imperfect. So what I will do, I will go to modify and then divide this. Now this doesn't look good. So what I need to do is I need to make sure that this maximum edges is disabled, and then enable these breaker polygons. Now if I change the size here, we can see that we are adding some divisions here. So we can change the, you know, per direction size, so we can change size per direction. Depends how many additional geometry we want to have and where. So in my case, I think this is fine. Let's say something like this. Now I can add more divide nodes to be more precise. So because if you can see, if I'm changing the, changing the value here, it also applies on this part, and it's perfectly aligned with this edge here. So we could make a few more, and here you can also see that, like, I don't know how would it's dividing, like it's cutting through all these geometries that we grouped, and adding these additional edge loops. So now what we can do, we can now again use explode, but let's select everything and use explode view a bit more. And now with edit, I can just try to make this, all of this imperfect. And here you can see now how this explode node can be very, very useful. So I will speed up now. So see you once I'm done. Okay guys, I think this is now okay. Let's go back to our explode view and bring everything back. And now again, go back to edit, polygon mode, and now we are having this. This is maybe too much, but hey, who cares? It's really up to you. I was just demonstrating how you can do this nice and easy. And yeah, here obviously we would need another divide. Down, and let's make it. Okay, let's go everything. Also, maybe we can just make this a bit outside. And save. Let's now RT connect this here, render. Now depending on the output here, or actually select input, either 0 or 1. Now this first wire is 0, the second one is 1, the third one would be the 2, and then and so on and so on. Let's save it, and what we can do, just quickly go out, make this black. Also make sure to create your groups and materials like we did in previous tutorials. And now just under edit parameter, go inside. We can actually, if C, just say here, like edit. We're in the middle, organize it a bit better, like that. And we can use folder here. Minimize all of these, that folder here, and say controls. We can do a lot of here, but this is not the topic for this tutorial. And now select the switch node and select input, just drag and drop, say switch. You can even go here, use menu, and say for the 0, the label is perfect. And then for the 1, the label is stylized. And press apply. Let's go back. Apply. Yep, but first we also get our controls for thickness, for example. So I can add distance here and say thickness. Then here for the doors, let me see. Okay, on this one I need this one. Sure. Rotate doors, accept, apply, accept. Let's check this to be sure. Yeah, that's it. 50. Go back, control to save. Now here we can see that we have these controls, and now I can change very quickly from stylized to perfect, and I can also use the controls for the doors. But here I would have to work on, because when I'm rotating here, you can see that because of the divide node, things are changing. So in this case, it cannot work. Would need a workaround, but for this case here, it's perfect. Now, obviously, yeah, this works. Very nice. For this one, we would need some fixing, but even in some cases, yeah, it works good enough. Again, why this is changing? Because if the number of primitives are shifting, then our groups are also shifting. Our group selections are shifting numbers, which means that these tools that are using groups are operating on different points or primitives. So that's why shifting is happening. That's one golden rule to know when doing procedural modeling. Changing position, scale in the upstream is totally fine in most cases. Changing the polygon numbers or primitive numbers is not okay. So if you change primitive numbers upstream, you probably gonna break a lot of stuff down the stream. And let's go and see how this looks in our loops. And I guess it looks good. I think I need normal. I need normal for this to look. I can just add it here. Now I don't have to put normal here and there. I just use it before the output. That's it. Now if we go back, now things looks much better, even though this part doesn't. Actually it looks, but this is because of the divide node and edit node. But anyway, guys, that would be it for this lesson. Hopefully you have learned something, and make sure to stay safe, and see you in the next video.